Hello and welcome to another episode of Geography Made Easy. In these videos, we try to make difficult geographical topics easy. Today, in this video, we are not going to talk about geography but rather environmental studies. This particular paper is there in the University of Calcutta's syllabus for semester 2 CVAC paper. So we have this paper which is called Environmental Education, and we will be discussing each unit in details. Firstly, I would like to discuss and define what is the meaning of the word environmental education. We have to first remember that in this particular paper, we are given questions which will be more theoretical, and in details I'm going to also discuss about the probable questions which can come, but it is more theoretical and we have to be able to answer the questions properly in the form of definitions. So our answers need to be more specific, and we cannot really just use our awareness or concept, but the examiner will be looking at particular answers. So firstly, what is the definition of environmental education? So this is the particular definition which has been given by the EPA or Environmental Protection Agency USA. You can use any definition you find in any book, but I liked this particular definition, so I'm using this. Environmental education is a process that allows individuals to explore environmental issues, engage in problem solving, and take action to improve the environment. So we have three things here. One is it makes people aware about different kinds of environmental issues. For example, pollution, for example, climate change. These are the issues which we recognize are problems which are there in the environment. Then we engage in how to solve this problem. For example, if plastic pollution is a particular issue and a issue of environmental pollution, we can then think of ways in which we can solve this plastic problem. So there can be, for example, we can individually take up some measures to reduce our plastic consumption, to not use one-time use plastic, as well as the government level implementation is also there, and to take action to improve the environment. Any kind of activism here is taken as an action which can help improve the environment. For example, planting more trees, reducing or sorting our waste. So waste segregation can also be one action taken to improve the environment. So not necessarily it has to be something very large. Even small measures which we saw, which we talked about in Mission Life in the last semester, those can also go into improving the environment. Our lifestyle changes can lead to small changes. Small changes lead to big changes. So we have to understand that. As a result, individuals develop a deeper understanding of environmental issues and have the skills to make informed and responsible decisions. So once a person is educated, that means the person becomes aware about the different environmental issues, then hopefully the skills and the information which the person has gathered will make him understand about how to take responsible decisions and how to take rational decisions to protect the environment. This is the entire aim of environmental education, not just to make people aware, not just for us to get marks in the university exam, but also to become aware citizens of the world where we can make a change. So we have another particular definition which is given in the Tbilisi Declaration of 1978. So this was, we are going to talk about this in details in the next slides. So environmental education is a learning process that increases people's knowledge and awareness about the environment and associated challenges, develops the necessary skill and expertise to address these challenges, and so on. So it is very similar to the EPA particular definition. So anyone can be used. If you are using any one of them, I would suggest that you please write which one you are using, who has given the particular definition. Moving on, what are the different components of environmental education? The first one is awareness and sensitivity to the environment. When we become sensitive to the environmental issues and challenges, we become better individuals. So the awareness that there is plastic pollution which is being caused, which is killing a lot of plants and animals, is the awareness and the sensitivity, not just to remove yourself away from the environment, but rather to engage with it. That is how a sensible person behaves. So environmental education tries to exactly do this. Second is knowledge and understanding of environment and environmental challenges. The different kinds of knowledge which we gather after this course is what is the understanding we develop about environment and the various environmental challenges, problems, issues which are there. Attitudes of concern for the environment, very very important, and motivation to improve or maintain environmental quality. So we as students, we all as educators, we try to create the concern among students about their environment, because that is very very important. Once we become concerned, then only we can bring about a change. Fourth is skills to identify and help resolve the environmental challenges. A lot of students nowadays, they go and they study environmental law, then they study policies. So all this in later life they can use them if they are aware citizens, if they are sensitive citizens, they can actually resolve maybe a lot of the issues if we make them, empower them right now. And participation in activities that lead to awareness, resolution of environmental challenges. So any say you want to go and clean oil spill, that is one. You can go and help a particular group, like the ridley turtle, the olive ridley turtle, which hatches every year offshore Orissa. So a lot of students, young people, old people, they go and help these turtles, because there is a highway which is passing very close to the place where the turtle come and lay their eggs. So people help because they get disoriented from the lights coming from the cars. So the baby turtles are helped by people who go gather them in baskets and help them towards the sea, towards the ocean, where they make a journey. Not all of them survive, but here we are trying to bring about a change. So hopefully that this particular course will help you participate in such activities with more enthusiasm. So, significance of environmental education, we have already talked about this in the previous slide, but it is something environmental education will make you more aware, will help you to become participate in different activities, develop your skills, change your attitudes, and make you more knowledgeable person. So, it's important that we understand that it is a very significant thing which is there. And environmental education just does not start with you, but it can be passed on, and in your family levels, in your peer levels, you can educate anybody anytime. Let's move on. Genesis of environmental education. From where did environmental education start? The thought behind environmental education. So we have two branches. We have the Western school of thought and we have the Indian school of thought. The Western school of thought as well as the Indian school of thought did not really understand or talk about environmentalism in the early days, because the environment was not that degraded. It is, we see that it is through the different revolutions, especially we see that industrial revolution has led to the decline of the environment. And post World War II, the awareness actually has increased. So Second World War triggered people to understand. So 1960s, 70s onwards, we see this kind of activism slowly starting to take place. But the philosophy is there from Greek thinkers, from the ancient times. And in India, the very best example is not from the ancient times, not just the ancient times, but we have Rabindranath Tagore. And Rabindranath Tagore, his entire concept of a university where students can sit in the environment, sit within a classroom which has no walls, is something which is unique, and which is what we understand by environmental education. This is a photograph of the classroom system in Bishwabharati, that is the university that Rabindranath Tagore has created, and exactly this is what we are talking about. So it's not just that we get to learn something from the books, but it is something also from our surroundings. So it leads to holistic development of individuals. 1970s onwards, we see that environmental degradation, which is leading to activism, this accelerated because the awareness started generating and people started talking about this. So we see the Earth Day celebration in 1970s, and then after that we see different conventions, conferences, these all taking place, different days being celebrated. For example, Biodiversity Day, World Water Day, and so on and so forth, World Environment Day. So this has started from the 1970s onwards. Maybe the awareness, if it was there before, the activism would have started a little earlier, maybe the degradation wouldn't have been so bad. But the two world wars actually created a huge amount of degradation with the nuclear weapons and so on. People started realizing that their actions can be harmful. So we have this declaration in 1977, 1978, which is called the Tbilisi Declaration, which took place in a place called Tbilisi. And this particular declaration was organized by the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization. We tend to know this as UNESCO. And UNESCO, in this particular convention, in this declaration, they passed a law about defining environmental education. So this is the first time we see that there is a convention where people are trying to define and demarcate and talk about education and environment, how these two can be linked and how they can be helpful for students. Moving on, the philosophy of environmental education. So looking at this diagram, we have so many things overlapping environmental education. For example, sustainable development, wilderness experience. So once you are educated, you have knowledge about environment, you will be able to enjoy the wilderness more. You will have an appreciation of the environment. You will be aware about your surroundings. So environmental education is the process of recognizing values and clarifying concepts in order to develop the skills and attitudes necessary to understand and appreciate the interrelationships among man. We can use the word human here. This is an old definition. His, or rather we can write their culture, because I want to be gender neutral here, and their belonging. So it's not just man, it's woman and all the genders included. So the process by which we are understanding that environment is a resource, it is having value, and clarifying the concepts so that we can develop our skills, positive skills and positive attitudes, which can bring about a change, which can create a change in our environment, in all kinds of environment, not just physical environment, even in every other kind of environment. But here we are basically talking about our physical environment. We can bring about a change only when we are educated. So this is the main philosophy behind environmental education. This is what environmental education strives at, and we hope that we are also able to do that once we are teaching you this paper. And coming to the concept of environmentalism, and we have the photograph of Gandhiji, because it is very important to quote Mahatma Gandhi here, where he says, nature has enough to satisfy everyone's needs, but not to satisfy anybody's or everybody's greed. We have to understand that how beautifully he has expressed the concept of environmentalism. Environment will provide you or will fulfill your needs, but it will not fulfill your greed. Once you become greedy, once you cross the line, then the problem starts. So environmentalism is the movement. So it is a holistic movement which is concerned, a movement of citizens for protection, improvement, and creation of a healthy and sustainable environment. So it is an idea, it is a concept, it is a philosophy. Environmentalism is implemented in, can be implemented in our lives. We can adopt environmentalism into our lives. We can move away. So the anti part of environmentalism is capitalism, where here we are valuing nature. So it is usually, it leads to movements, it leads to coming together of a lot of activism, a lot of people coming together to help protect and to raise their voice against any kind of activity which is taking place. And environmentalism, so there are a lot of scholars who are working on environmentalism, and they have talked, usually Gandhian scholars are proponents of environmentalism. A lot of people are who talk about environmental history, a lot of geographers, many people from different disciplines, they follow environmentalism. So it is not people from environmental science who talk about environmentalism, but it's a philosophy which can be followed by anybody, somebody who's studying anthropology, somebody who's studying chemistry, somebody who's studying history, or somebody who's studying English literature. We can implement environmentalism in all our subjects. Even when you are doing trade and commerce, you have to keep in mind that environment is important. So how you package, how you use a particular product can also have a positive environmental impact instead of having a negative impact. So economics, trade, commerce may not have a negative impact. So that is something very important. Finally, we have environmental education versus environmental awareness. That is, what is the difference between awareness and education? Environmental awareness is when we are becoming aware about the different environmental issues which are there. We might not have a degree, we might not be educated in terms of policies, but we are still aware. So it is the ABC of environmental literacy. It is the basics. First, you have to be aware, and then only, of course, you will be inculcated in education. So the awareness is more important, and I would say here that environmental awareness is much more important than education. It is the first step. So here we are becoming aware, and environmental education is the process of gaining of knowledge. So I become aware that plastic is something which is problematic for me. So I'm understanding, but it is only through environmental education that I get gain or gather the exact knowledge about why or how it is harming the environment. For example, biodiversity loss. I know that cutting down trees is bad for the environment. That is my awareness, and from a very young age I'm made aware about the fact that it is harmful. But it is the education part later when I come to know exactly why. So why is environmental education tries to exactly tell you the science behind the cause of these things. The awareness comes much before. So a educated somebody who is not educated can be an aware person, and somebody who is educated might not be a very eco-friendly or environmental friendly person who will not have the awareness. So both are two different things, and they go hand in hand, but awareness is most important. So if you have any doubts or any questions regarding this topic, please feel free to write in the comment section. And when you are preparing for this chapter, because we will be getting answers which has to be written down, I would suggest that you please make sure that you know the material in details, you know exactly what they are asking, so you know the definitions, you know the points, because here there is no scope of writing something through the concepts. To some extent we have to learn them. I hope this video was enjoyable, and see you in the next video where I will be explaining the other chapters which are there in the CVAC course. Till then, goodbye.